You are listening to The Thought Leaders Show with the world's cutting-edge, hottest innovators, influencers, and impact makers today. If you are looking for inspiration and motivation, listen in. Welcome to The Thought Leaders Show. Now, here's your host.
Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce today's guest, founder and CEO of Star Parents, ELANI Kay. ELANI coaches parents of children in the entertainment industry and helps them navigate the unique challenges that come with raising a child in the public eye. A best-selling author, life coach, speaker, single mother of 3 young boys, operations coordinator of an entertainment company, and expert momager to her oldest son, who is a successful Hollywood actor. Ms. Kay knows what it's like to lead an extremely busy life. She offers a full-scale mental and emotional makeover for her clients, resulting in an improved quality of life as a parent and individual. She also teaches specific methods for taking children's entertainment careers to the next level while ensuring a healthy and stable lifestyle for all. With coaching, support, and accountability, Ms. Kay's clients learn how to balance their lives, gain clarity and peace of mind, and be successful as a parent and child in the entertainment industry, and ultimately be led to find their own way to create the life they want to live. She's also the author of the Talent Agency Guide and the forthcoming book, Front Stage Mom. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
This is really an interesting topic to me because I remember when my daughter was about 5 or 6, this kid was the cutest, blondest, biggest blue-eyed, beautiful girl you'd ever want to see. I wanted her to be a model, but guess what? She would have absolutely nothing to do with it. So even though I wanted to be what you call a front stage mom, my daughter was like, I'm not interested in doing this. And it didn't matter what I thought, she wanted. So I imagine you work with a lot of people probably who maybe force their kids into the entertainment industry, or maybe there are children who are like, hey, I want to do this. So tell me a little bit more about who you help.
Well, I love the story, by the way, that brings up a great point, which I'll touch on in a little bit. But the people that I do help are parents whose child or children want to be in the entertainment industry, and also those who are already in the entertainment industry. So when you said that, your daughter didn't want to have anything to do with it, that's, very common, right? Because that might have been maybe a hidden parent dream, right? Or something that we may have wanted when we were kids. And then when we have our children and we see something in them, we're like, oh, you're so adorable. You'd be great on camera. You're a natural. And so it is hard to be able to push them. So when it comes to working, though, in Hollywood, that's something that's very important. It is not encouraged to force the kids, and especially when you can see it. And the kids end up actually not doing very well anyway if it's something that they don't want to do. It's very simple to see because when the kids get started going to auditions, for example, they are in the audition room by themselves, with the camera, with the casting director, and maybe other kids who are auditioning as well. So you can see right away if a kid is not into it and they aren't motivated or enthusiastic about it. So usually then that really doesn't go very far if the kids don't want to do it. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Well, I can really imagine it because I've heard stories of child actors like, the babies where, when they're babies, I think there was a story about the babies that started as Lily on Modern Family, for example, that the young girl who's now Lily is not the same as the actors who played the baby Lily.
Right. Right.
And sometimes I think that happens, but you hit the nail on the head. I think that that was my childhood dream, that I wanted to be on TV, but I grew up in a small town in Oregon. So there really wasn't any way for me to, be on television, because it was 1,200 miles to Hollywood from where I lived. Do you find that, do you have to be in LA or New York to have some type of a career?
Well, that's a great question. Everyone has their own, obviously, personal situation, or every family unit, has whatever the situation is. So what works for one may not work for others. And so there are actually quite a bit of families that are not from Los Angeles or that live in Los Angeles. So here in Hollywood, we have a few different seasons, and one of the big seasons is called pilot season. Things have changed a little bit as far as the timing of the year, but during pilot season, thousands of families from all over the place come to stay in LA, because that's when they're having the most auditions, and they're wanting to see, new actors or veteran actors to play the roles of people for the new TV shows that they're trying to pitch, right? So let's say, for example, there's this girl. She's now about 13. They are from Hawaii, and they would do self-submissions. So self-submissions are tapes that you can send in via email or Dropbox, and it goes through the system, and it's sent to the casting directors. So you don't actually have to show up in person. So a few times she got booked from major television shows. So then her and her mother ended up, coming out to LA and stayed for the duration of the filming and working and everything like that. And then she'd go back to Hawaii. And that's pretty far, There are other families where they come from other countries even, or all the way from Florida, or they do go from New York to LA. So obviously not everybody can do this, because it does require, money and time, the flexibility, things like that. So, but to answer your question, no, you don't have to live in LA. You don't have to even stay the whole time either in LA. Once you start, wanting to pursue it, you can go back to your hometown. You just need to have a very good relationship with your talent agent and or manager if you have one. And, you just need to be flexible and be able to work with them and be able to show up when you need to show up.
So that brings up a good question in my mind. Do you need an agent or a manager?
So agents and managers are different. In order to work legally, to have a contract that's made for you where you get paid, so to legitimately do work in Los Angeles and Hollywood, you have to have a contract that's negotiated by a talent agent. So yes, you need to have a talent agent. There are managers out there that hold a talent agent license. So they may call themselves a manager, but they may have a talent agency license. So they're able to do that. But basically, you must have a talent agent in order to work legitimately and to, get paid. So the manager, though, is optional. Managers, they may work more closely with you in your career, your branding, coaching you through things. But both talent agents and managers, they're trying to get you out. They're trying to get you the most auditions possible and get you the most work.
Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah. So a talent agent is actually a licensed profession. I didn't know that. That's really interesting.
Yeah. So, and so within the talent agency guide, which is why it's called Talent Agency Guide, is because there are many, many agencies that pop up and all of a sudden, here they are. And how do you know one from the other? So the actors union is called SAG-AFTRA, and they're the union that protects, the union actors. And these are, your veteran actors or actors that have worked on, union jobs. And so they have what's called all the talent agencies that are SAG-AFTRA franchise. So that means that now they are, a credible SAG-AFTRA franchise talent agency, and those are the legitimate agencies that you would want to have represent you.
So SAG is Screen Actors Guild?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So really, it is a highly regulated industry with unions, and you have to have a licensed talent agent representing you. And I imagine that that's really important anyway, because obviously you want somebody who knows what the wages should be and who's looking out for your best interest, working on your behalf. So you actually have 3 young sons, and are all of them actors or just one?
Just one. So my 11-year-old is the actor. And, back to your statement about your daughter not wanting to do it, likewise to my younger ones, this has been a major family group effort. They come with us to his audition. They can't go on set when he works, but they come to his audition. So they sit patiently and they support it. They see it, but they don't have an interest in wanting to do it. They've seen their brother, and the pictures of getting lavish lunches and snacks and being in a trailer, and and they've seen him on TV and they think it's cool. They think it's great, but they don't have an interest in doing it. And so that's not something that I'm going to force them to do. It's open, and I've told them that if they ever wanted to change their mind, that I would support them in doing it as well. So, yeah.
And you're a single mom, so you have one actor child and 2 non-actor childs. But obviously, when you're a single mom, you just said it. Guess what? Everybody goes on the adventure to support the one person who's going out there. So when you work with these different parents in a coaching capacity, I guess it's the relationship that you would have when you're helping them. What do you find are the biggest issues confronting parents of child actors?
Well, the number one thing is actually very similar, I would say, to most parents' problems and most individuals' problems. And that is not feeling overwhelmed. Not feeling overwhelmed with time management. Because as a person, you're already going to have whatever your schedule is, right? You have the things that you need to do. So then when you add on being a parent, then now you have your parental responsibilities. And then when you have a child that acts, and you're doing these auditions, going on set, being here, being there, it's a lot of driving, a lot of coordination, and just like I said, time management, because, you have to be there as well, taking them to the audition, and then when you're there, waiting until it's time for them to go and driving back. And you may have had things that you need to do that day or during that time, and you have to adjust your schedule, so you really have to be very efficient and aware of what it is you're doing and how you're organizing your day so that you don't feel like you're losing it. And so for me, what is very rewarding for me is to give people that sense of calmness and reassurance and encouragement that, it's okay. Like if you had a freak out today, it's okay, because we all do. And, and life does get overwhelming. And so really it's just more so about providing, number one, like the resources, tools, and knowledge that I have from my experiences that I can give to my clients. And then also being able to give them the encouragement and the support, through giving them different ways for them to figure out how to solve the problems at hand right when they're going through it. A lot of times, I've had managers tell me that they had to pull parents offset because of their behavior. And surprisingly, there are parents that end up behaving poorly, much more poorly than their kid, you know, on professional sets, in professional settings. So, and that just has to do with, obviously their mindset and being overwhelmed and being overstressed. And they need, that extra support so that they can handle themselves in those situations.
So what is freaking? I mean, like when a parent overreacts or acts badly, what would normally be, and what would the issue or the trigger be that where they might lose it?
Well, let's say let's say for an audition day, for example, maybe there was 2 auditions that they knew ahead of time and one that came up all of a sudden. So, and they weren't really prepared. So now they're having to figure out, oh my gosh, okay, I got to get the clothes. What are they going to wear? Okay, are they ready? Do you need to take a shower? Like I just said, how long is it going to take me to get to where the audition is and to the next one and to the next one? Where is everything located? Okay, oh my gosh, there's all this traffic. We're going to be late. And in LA, parking isn't the easiest thing, right? So we have to find near parking, and sometimes you're gonna have to be circling around a lot, and you're like, I have 10 minutes to get there, and then if you have multiple kids, they might be arguing, they might be fighting, you might be going through something already, right? So your patience is already low. You can imagine, the parents driving around like, oh my gosh.
So
and so that's what it is. It's those kind of children. It's like you have to stay calm.
So it's almost like normal parenting, except what you're juggling is just the stakes are higher. But people might argue that I mean, thinking about the baseball game or the ballet lessons or the acting lessons or all of those things, and then add in that, gee, you might be chosen to be in a new TV ongoing series or a movie or a TV commercial, the stakes get pretty high. So I imagine that really could be pretty stressful, not only for the parent, but for the kid or children also. What is, I think about, again, if I, look back at me, growing up in a small town in Oregon, and my fantasy was to go to Los Angeles and, become an actress. And seriously, I used to go to the library and I would study books about acting and everything. And I look at it because when you're from a small town, you do have limiting beliefs. It's about how could an ordinary everyday person ever get discovered or something? What are some of the big misconceptions about being in the entertainment industry that you've found?
Well, and I'm glad that you brought this up because definitely so many people think that, and even people here in LA, they think it's not possible for a regular, everyday, average person to be able to get into the entertainment industry, and so one of the most exciting things for me is about the dream, right? Like you said, it's sort of like the limiting belief, right? For me to be able to change that and alter that perspective, because not just for the kids, but also for the parents too, and even for you, it's not too late. If you ever wanted to like come out to LA and be like, you could be an extra in a movie. You could be, and you get to say like, I got to be in a feature film, a Hollywood film. Like you could do that, and more in even the state that you live in and the areas that you live in, there are local places that still film commercials, So there are talent agencies in many of the metropolitan areas across the U.S., and of course across the globe as well, right? So that is something where, I stress to people that approach me and ask me, how did I, get my son into the business and everything like that? How did that happen? And, and because we were just everyday regular people, but we learned and we learned along the way and educated ourselves. And we were not actually from Los Angeles. We moved from Northern California to Southern California after he had booked his second large national commercial. And so I was like, wow, I think we're really onto something here. I think we should really pursue this and commit to this. And he really wanted this, and he really wanted to do this, and he was doing so great, and he moved on to being on, Disney Junior, Comedy Central, TV Land, and doing Samsung and Nike, and so all those things happened very fast and very soon, and it really was a dream come true story. It's one of those stories that people wish for, you know? So we're very, very blessed, and I'm so thankful that that's been able to be, my son's journey. Um, and, and also too, what I learned in going through this, another misconception about like the parents that support their kids in doing this, they feel like they might have to give up what their dreams are because so that their kids can pursue their dreams, or they, don't think that it's possible to do both. But for me, I want to be a living example of that. That just because I am supporting my kids' dreams and whatever aspirations they have does not mean that I need to stop my own. Because at the end of the day, we are the examples that our kids look at. And so if I was not pursuing my own dreams and I didn't feel like I was living out my life purpose, then I wouldn't be happy, right? And I wouldn't be able to be, the parent that can offer them the calmness before auditions or the joy and excitement every single day, So because I'm also pursuing my own dreams and I'm living out my purpose, and it makes me a better parent, to my kids, and especially being able to support my son, and he sees it and we motivate each other. That's the cool thing, that I find very special, because like my son, since he was very young, I was like, wow, he has these dreams that are so huge and these goals that are so big that it made me want to elevate mine, because I wasn't going to be the one to tell him it's not possible, because I wouldn't want somebody to tell me that. So, so I support him, and at the same time, it's helped me expand my thought processes and beliefs and what things can actually happen. And so I find that there's been room for much more because of that. So,
well, I know for a fact that you were just speaking at the Business Expert Forum at Harvard Faculty Club recently. And I'm not sure if that was a big dream or not, but I know I was there speaking, and it was pretty phenomenal to be among the thought leaders from around the world, sharing our stories, and being on the campus and kind of knowing, like, for me it was really cool because it was like, wow, this is where Facebook was conceived. So it was kind of a cool feeling to be in that place. And I think you're right. When you're able to fulfill your dreams, your children see, well, gee, mom is growing and she's creating her dream. I can create my dream, and mom's supporting me. And it just makes for this really nice cushion of love and support. So you grow up knowing that you can achieve anything you choose to achieve or create in your life. That's really phenomenal. So, of all the reasons that people don't work with you, for example, to grow their dream of being in the entertainment business, what do you think is the biggest thing holding most people back?
well, I believe the number one thing that would hold anybody back, and also from my experience, what I know is it's just fear. It's fear. we touched on a lot of different things, and also the positives and what I was saying about kind of what the perspective looks like in my household. And I know that there are many stories that don't end up like that, right? Where you have a happy ending, or that you get signed by an agent and you book major jobs, or when it comes to any of those type of things, from acting, modeling, or being a singer, musician, right? There are jaded people because they either put all their time and their money and their effort into it, and it didn't happen for them. And so the next person may be like, I don't want to be that person. But the one thing to always remember is that we are the only version of ourselves. And so as a parent, if you have a child that is telling you that they really believe that they want to be a star, they want to be on TV. And then it doesn't even have to be like in a major way. They don't necessarily have to be, the next Denzel or the next Julia Roberts, right? But they could still like try local commercials or do voiceover work, or like, smaller things, commercials, because they are looking for real people now as well to do commercials. So in their own way, it's like you could still support that if they really truly are committed to it, and they're a young person and they're looking at you in the eyes and telling you they want to do it, like, then give them a try, and as the parent, of course you want to protect them and you don't want them to be hurt. But the thing is that life is going to bring them many things that you can never control that will potentially hurt them anyways. And the best lesson like that I've learned in my life and that I'm teaching my kids is, as long as you keep trying, and as long as you do try, then that is success in itself, And so the limiting beliefs come from someone trying to block you from trying, because they don't want you to be hurt, or, they don't want you to not be able to handle rejection, all those things. And so, but that's why I continue to just, share the things that goes on in my life and my son's life. And, and as a life coach, that ends up becoming very, powerful to my clients and my mentees. They've seen us all go through the things that we had to go through, and my son as an actor, like, he had to, move completely his whole life, right? And come down to LA and say, and know that he's the reason why we all moved, right? And know that it wasn't a pressure, but it's like an unsaid pressure, right? To do well and be like, we're all doing this, we're all moving and picking up our lives to support you. So, since this is what you want to do, then like be serious about it. And so he has taken it very seriously. So, so fear is the number one thing.
And I was just thinking about your son at age 11, to know what you're passionate about doing is a gift in itself. And to have a mom and siblings that are there supporting you along the way, he's very, very lucky that he's got that support system, within you. So if people want to talk to you or learn more, where can they go get more information?
Well, they can go to my website, which is www.starparents.biz, B-I-Z. That's starparents.biz. And I'm also on social media, so you can find me on Facebook at Coaching Star Parents, and also on Instagram at ELANI KAY. That's ELANI KAY. And also too, the talent agency guide, that's available on Amazon, so they can go ahead and look that up there.
I want that.
Yeah, you'll want to find the most recent version, because we update it. So Because also another thing I'll mention is that the talent agencies, sometimes they, no longer are around. So they change kind of frequently. So we do update the guide. So you'll want to get the most recent one on there. And then just look out for the new book called Front Stage Moms, where it's a book that will have multiple different momagers. Those are the moms of child actors that also manage their kids. And we will be sharing, our stories and perspectives and suggestions and tips to aspiring kids and parents that want to break into the entertainment industry.
Wow, that is super, super cool. Just a few things that I learned in our short conversation. I learned about pilot season. I learned about self-submissions and about the Screen Actors Guild, and that talent agents had to be licensed. Those are some things that I think were very gold nuggets from our conversation, because those are just little things like, wow, how cool would it be if you knew when pilot season was, and that would be when you would do some heavy duty focusing. And I love the idea of self-submissions. And before I let you go, obviously in local areas around the country, there are opportunities to learn how to sing, to learn how to dance, to do acting in local playhouses or things at school. How important is it to get started early with developing your talents?
In the acting world, it's very important to start early with your talents. And also the others, like you said, from singing and dancing, because now it is important for you to have more than just the acting skill. You want to be versatile, right? So yeah, it ends up becoming important because you learn the power of discipline and practice, because talent can be, born in you, and that become your birthright, that you just naturally are that good. But it's those that outwork the people that are naturally talented. So if they start early and they keep working at their craft, and by the time they're ready to really want to, put their gifts out there and shine, then they've refined whoever it is that they want to be.
So that old adage, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice.
Absolutely.
Works in Hollywood too, that if you can recognize it early and get your family on board with the dream, I think, think about it. I'm pretty sure that if my dream had been a passionate fire and I had been able to articulate that to my mother and father, I'm sure they would have, said, well, you can do this, this, or this. But I just, small town girl didn't really know how to express all those things. But the good news is now as an adult, and you just confirmed it, you said, hey, Tammy, if you want to go be in a movie, you can still go try out. I love that. I really appreciate that, because that tells me that the only person stopping me from doing whatever it is I want to do is me. So thank you for that. I really appreciate all of your time and insight. What valuable information. Great stuff. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I'm so happy to have been on your show. Thank you very much for having me.
This is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
You've been listening to the Thought Leaders Show. To get all past shows and to get all future shows, go to thoughtleadersshow.com.